Chapter 1. Shadows of the Big House. The sultry air of Louisiana in the spring of 1845 hung heavy over Willow Bend Plantation, like a shroud woven from Spanish moss and unspoken secrets. The Mississippi River, lazy and wide, slithered past the sprawling fields of cotton, its muddy waters whispering promises of freedom to those chained to the land. But for Emma Duval, daughter of the soil and the sin, freedom was a word as distant as the stars piercing the humid night sky. Emma was 22, with skin the color of polished mahogany and eyes like polished obsidian, sharp, unyielding, carrying the weight of a lineage she could never fully claim. Born to a white mother, a house slave named Marie, who had caught the eye of the master, Emma had been raised in the peculiar limbo of the big house. Not quite field hand, not quite family. Her mother had died birthing her brother Jacob 5 years back, leaving Emma to tend the hearth, mend the linens, and eavesdrop on the white folks' world from the shadows of the kitchen. Old Master Elias Beaumont had always been kinder to her than to most. A widower with a paunch grown soft from too much bourbon and too few regrets, Elias ruled Willow Bend with a velvet glove over an iron fist. He imported fine silks from New Orleans for her to sew into dresses, slipped her extra cornbread when the overseer wasn't looking, and once, only once, when the whiskey flowed freely after a successful harvest, he murmured that she reminded him of her mother. Marie had fire in her, girl. You got it too. But kindness from a master was a debt, not a gift, and Emma knew better than to let it blind her. That fateful evening in April, as the sun bled crimson into the horizon, Elias Beaumont lay dying in his oak-paneled study. The room reeked of camphor and decay, the air thick with the rattle of his labored breaths. Outside, the cicadas screamed their endless hymn, drowning out the distant crack of the overseer's whip on some poor soul's back in the quarters. "Fetch Miss Eliza," Elias gasped, to no one in particular, his eyes milky with fever. But Eliza, his spinster sister who managed the house with a ledger and a lash, was in Baton Rouge, visiting kin. Jacob, Emma's brother, now 17 and strong as an ox in the fields, had been sent for, but the overseer delayed, claiming boy trouble. It fell to Emma, as always, to tend the master in his final hours. She knelt by his bedside, pressing a cool cloth to his brow. His hand, gnarled like the roots of the ancient live oaks outside, clutched hers with surprising strength. "Emma, the desk, bottom drawer, key." His voice was a rasp, barely audible over the ticking of the mantel clock. Emma hesitated. Slaves weren't meant to touch the master's things without leave. But death stripped away pretenses. She crossed to the massive mahogany desk, its surface cluttered with ledgers yellowed by tobacco stains and ink pots crusted with neglect, rifling through the bottom drawer amid piles of forgotten receipts and a half-empty flask. Her fingers brushed cold metal, a small brass key, ornate with a fleur-de-lis etching, tied to a faded ribbon. "Open it! Read it!" Elias wheezed, his chest heaving like a bellows. The key fit a hidden compartment behind a false panel in the desk's side. With a soft click it yielded, revealing a single folded parchment, sealed with red wax bearing the Beaumont crest. Emma's heart pounded as she broke the seal, the paper crackling like dry leaves underfoot. It was a will, dated just 3 weeks prior, penned in Elias's own shaky hand and witnessed by a notary from New Orleans. The words swam before her eyes in the flickering lamplight. "I, Elias Beaumont, being of sound mind, do hereby declare that upon my death, my faithful servants, Emma Duval and her brother Jacob Duval, shall be emancipated forthwith. They are to receive $500 each from my estate, a mule, and 10 acres of bottomland along the river. This I swear on my honor, for services rendered beyond measure and blood ties unspoken." Emma's breath caught in her throat. Emancipated. Free. The word burned like the overseer's brand. Blood ties unspoken. Was this confession her mother's old rumor, that Elias was her father, not some nameless field hand? Jacob, too. It explained the favors, the lingering glances. But $500. Land. In Louisiana, where free blacks were eyed with suspicion and manumission required court approval, it was a fortune wrapped in peril. Elias. "Master, is this true?" she whispered, turning back to him. His eyes, clearing for a moment, locked on hers. "Truth. At last." "Hide it, girl. Caleb, my son. He'll burn it." Caleb Beaumont, the heir from Elias's first marriage to a French Creole beauty long dead, was cut from crueler cloth. 35, whip lean, with eyes like a cottonmouth snake. Caleb oversaw the fields from horseback, his ledger balanced in blood and broken backs. He despised house pets like Emma, calling her that uppity quadroon behind his father's back. Rumors swirled that he bedded field girls and sold their babies downriver for sport. Elias's grip tightened. "Key. Around your neck. Safe." From his pillow, he produced a thin chain with another key. This one iron, heavier, etched with numbers. 1845. Bank, New Orleans, First Creole, safe deposit, papers, prove everything. Emma slipped the chain over her head, tucking the key beneath her calico bodice, next to her racing heart. The will she folded into her apron pocket. "I swear it, master, Jacob and me, we'll be free." A gurgle escaped his lips, half laugh, half death rattle. "Not master. Pa, go now!" His eyes fluttered shut, and the room fell silent save for the clock's relentless march. Emma slipped out like a shadow, the night enveloping her as she hurried to the slave quarters. A cluster of weathered cabins flanking the big house like supplicants before an altar. The air hummed with fear. Word of the master's passing spread faster than fire through dry cane. Jacob was waiting in their cabin, his broad shoulders hunched over a whittled wooden horse he carved by firelight. Sweat glistened on his ebony skin, scars from the overseer's lash crisscrossing his back like a map of suffering. "Sis, he gone?" She nodded, bolting the door. In hushed tones, she recounted everything: the will, the key, the hidden safe. Jacob's eyes widened, hope flickering like a candle in a storm. "Free? Land?" "Emma, that's the promised land talkin'." But caution tempered his joy. "Caleb'll never honor it. He'll say you forged it. Hang us both for theft." Emma pulled the parchment from her pocket, smoothing it under the dim light. The notary's signature gleamed authentic, the wax unbroken until her hands. "We get it to a lawyer. Court in New Orleans. Master said there's more proof in the bank." Jacob traced the words with a calloused finger. "Blood ties. Ma always said you looked like the big house, not the fields. And me. Strong like him." A rare smile cracked his face. "Pa." Sleep evaded them that night. Dawn brought the tolling bell, summoning the 200 souls of Willow Bend to the fields. But for the house slaves, it meant tending the corpse. Emma dressed Elias in his finest broadcloth suit, her needle flying through buttons as Caleb strode in, reeking of stale whiskey and malice. "Girl, you touchin' him." Caleb's voice was silk over steel, his pale eyes raking her form. "Just making him presentable, Massa Caleb," Emma murmured, head bowed, key burning against her skin. He circled her like a hawk, breath hot on her neck. "Daddy had a soft spot for trash like you. Sewed you pretty dresses while niggers starved. Pathetic." He snatched the looking-glass from the vanity, checking his reflection. "Overseer says fields need pushin'. Double quota for the funeral. And you, kitchen till I say." As he left, Emma exhaled. Close. Too close. The next days blurred into a nightmare of mourning and malice. Caleb announced himself master before Elias's body cooled. preaching, scripture twisted to justify the lash. Slaves, obey your masters. The wake drew neighbors, planters in silk waistcoats, their wives fanning themselves with palmetto leaves, slaves serving gumbo and stolen glances. Whispers reached Emma in the kitchen. Caleb had sent for a lawyer from Monroe, not New Orleans, a crony known to void wills favoring blacks. Jacob, hauling water from the river, caught her eye across the yard. "Wait," his nod said. On the third night under a hunter's moon, Emma slipped into the study again. Caleb's men rifled drawers by day, but the false panel remained untouched, too clever for their dull wits. She confirmed the compartment empty save for dust. The real prize lay in New Orleans. But fate turned cruel at dawn. Caleb gathered the house slaves in the yard, the will clutched in his fist like a dead rat. "This forgery found in Daddy's desk claims he freed 2 thieves." Gasps rippled. He thrust it toward Emma. "Your handwritin', girl? Speak!" Emma's blood iced. The parchment, pristine when she hit it, now bore smudges. Ink bled as if wet. "No, massa. I found it fair. He give it to me hisself." "Liar!" Caleb backhanded her, splitting her lip. Blood trickled warm down her chin. "Daddy delirious. You penned it hopin' for scraps. Shackles for you both till trial." Jacob lunged forward. "She tell truth." The overseer cracked his whip, laying Jacob low in the dirt. As irons clamped her wrists, Emma met Caleb's gaze. "God's watchin', massa. Truth come out," he sneered. "God don't free niggers. Get her to the barn." Chained in the dim stable amid the lowing of mules, Emma fingered the hidden key. Jacob, bruised but unbroken beside her, whispered, "New Orleans, we run." "Not yet. Need proof." But as Caleb's boots echoed away, a rider arrived. Tall, Yankee straight, dust from the road cloaking his broadcloth suit. "Name's Harlan Thorpe, cotton buyer from Boston," he announced to Caleb over cigars that night. "Heard of your prime fields, looking to invest." Emma, eavesdropping from the barn shadows, noted his northern accent, abolitionist fire in his eyes. A sign. As the key weighed heavy on her chest, she vowed. The chains held her body, but not her will. Willow Bend's secrets would break free, or bury them all. Chapter 2. Whispers on the Bayou. The barn at Willow Bend reeked of manure and despair, its shadows alive with the skitter of rats and the muffled sobs of the damned. Emma and Jacob, huddled on straw pallets, their wrists raw from iron manacles chained to a stout oak post. Moonlight sliced through chinks in the walls, illuminating the welts on Jacob's back from the overseer's recent lesson. But it was the forged will, smudged and tainted in Caleb's fist, that gnawed at Emma's soul like a bayou gator. "Harlan Thorpe," Emma whispered, her voice a thread in the night. She'd overheard the cotton buyer's name during his cigar chat with Caleb 2 nights prior. Northern accent, sharp questions about crop yields, eyes that lingered on the chained slaves with something like pity. "He's our road north, to New Orleans." Jacob shifted, chains rattling softly. "How, sis?" Caleb got eyes everywhere. Overseer patrols the quarters like a fox in the henhouse. Emma fingered the iron key beneath her bodice. It's etched 1845, a talisman against the dark. "Listen close. Thorpe buys cotton tomorrow at the landing. Slaves load bales. He'll see us. I'll drop a note in his saddlebag. Ma taught me letters from the Bible. Safe deposit. First Creole Bank. Proof. He'll bite. Risky as crossing the Mississippi in flood. But desperation bred boldness." Dawn painted the sky blood orange as Caleb's men herded the slaves to the river landing. A weathered dock where steamboats gulped cotton like insatiable beasts. Harlan Thorpe arrived on horseback, a dandy in broadcloth vest and beaver hat, his Yankee twang cutting the humid air. Prime lint, Mr. Beaumont, show me. Emma, hauling a bale twice her weight, staggered near his bay mare. As Jacob distracted with a shouted warning about loose footing, she slipped a scrap of burlap, inked with charcoal under cover of night, into the saddlebag. Help us, key to truth, Bank Nola. E.D. Thorpe's eyes met hers mid-load, a flicker of recognition. No nod, no word, just a tightening of his jaw. By noon, as the transaction closed with handshakes and bourbon toasts, a field hand pressed a corncob into Emma's palm during water break. Inside, scratched on paper, midnight, Bayou edge, come alone, burn this. Heart hammering, Emma waited till the quarters slept under Caleb's curfew, slipping irons by working a rusted link loose. A trick from field whispers, she ghosted to the swamp's fringe, where cypress knees rose like drowned sentinels from black water. Gator's eyes glowed amber. Bullfrogs bellowed warnings. A low whistle pierced the chorus. Harlan emerged from the murk, lantern hooded. Brave girl, Emma Duval. She nodded, key clutched like a dagger. You abolition, Northern fire, Boston Quaker roots, underground man. He glanced back at the dark. Saw your chains, that note, bank proof. Master's will, forged by Caleb. Safe deposit box got letters, blood ties, real paw maybe. Free us, get you glory north. Thorpe's face hardened. Fugitive slave law tightens. But Willow Bend's route known. Bayou to Mississippi, steamer to Nola. I got contacts, free blacks at the docks, Creole sympathizers, risky. Caleb posts rewards. $500 my head. Lie, but it stoked his ego. He exhaled smoke from a cheroot. Tomorrow I buy you and Jacob as field hands for Mississippi plantation. Caleb greedy, won't check papers. We slip at Nola docks. Deal? Emma's gut twisted. Trust a white man. But the key, burned. Deal, Jacob too. Midday sealed it. Caleb, pockets jingling from Thorpe's overbid, signed the bill of sale with a flourish. Prime stock, break 'em good up north. Jacob loaded the flatboat in silence, eyes promising vengeance, as the craft poled into the bayou, twisted channels choked with lily pads and fever moss. Thorpe stood stern, scanning for patrols. Slaves poled in rhythm, their chants a veil for escape hymns. 2 days blurred into nightmare navigation. Bayous teemed with cottonmouths. Storms lashed the boat. They skirted patrols. Thorpe's forged passes waved like flags. One night, hiding in a thicket as hounds bayed distant, Harlan confessed. Ran dozens north, Ohio line, then Canada, Lake Erie boats. But you, proof, could sway Congress. New Orleans materialized at dusk on the third day, a riot of spires, ship masts, and sin. The Crescent City pulsed. Quadroon balls in Congo Square, stevedores cursing in French, yellow fever ghosts haunting alleys. Thorpe docked at a free black wharf, run by a burly oysterman named Solomon, underground node. Box 1845, First Creole Bank, Rue Royale, Emma urged. Dawn found them at the bank, a marble edifice guarding fortunes, stained by slave gold. Thorpe flashed a lawyer's seal, forged, claiming estate proxy. The vault was catacomb cool, rows of brass boxes gleaming. Key 1845 turned smooth, yielding a tin case, letters, deeds, a locket with Elias's miniature. Emma's hands shook, unfolding yellowed vellum. Elias's script, to my darlings, Emma and Jacob, born of Marie's love and my folly. Not Duval blood, but Beaumont. Manumit you both, land grant, $5,000 from Creole Holdings. Witnesses silenced by Caleb's threats. Hide this. Son schemes to seize all. But, deeper shock. Another letter, sealed with Washington seal. Elias, your bastard whelp by Marie is mine too. Blood tests no, but eyes match. Senayan, Harlan Beaumont kin. Funds enclosed for silence. Underground aid if needed. Those, Caldwell, U.S. Sonora, Virginia. Jacob whistled low. Senator, Pa's brother, white uncle bankrolling us. Thorpe snatched pages, eyes gleaming. Goldmine exposes elite ties to bastards, slave sins, Boston papers'll riot. Emma clutched the tin. Ours first, free papers. But as they resurfaced to street glare, betrayal struck. Rough hands seized Jacob, patrolman in Caleb's pay, tipped by a dock rat. Fugitives, reward! Thorpe spun, feigning shock. What? Stolen cargo! The leader sneered, flashing Thorpe's own note. Emma's burlap scrap. Yankee snake, Boss Beaumont wired. Thorpe traitor, capture cargo docks, double pay. Emma lunged, but iron snapped again. Jacob fought like a panther, cracking a jaw before cudgel felled him. Thorpe smirked as they dragged her aboard a waiting skiff. Sorry, girl. Dock's worth 10 plantations. Shantyman double-crossed for coin. Bound for Willow Bend upriver. Emma's mind reeled. Harlan Thorpe, abolitionist fraud. Letters named Senna Caldwell, real father. Caleb's plot deeper. Key safe, but proof scattered. As the Mississippi churned red beside the boat, Jacob groaned beside her. Told you, sis, whites all snakes. Dusk fell as Willow Bend loomed, lanterns mocking. Caleb waited dockside, Thorpe at his elbow, letters in hand. Welcome home, pets. Yankee sold you back. Docks too. Daddy's gift's mine now. Emma spat blood. Burn 'em. Truth lives. Caleb laughed, waving the senatorial seal. Truth? This kin letter, blackmail gold. Sell to Richmond papers, ruin Caldwell. You? Breeding stock downriver. But as guards hauled them to the whipping post, a shadow detached from the tree line. A cloaked rider, vanishing into swamp. Witness? Ally? Or deadlier snake? The lash sang first on Jacob's back. Emma's turn next, but beneath her chains the key whispered, not over. Chapter 3. Blood in the Bayou. The whipping post at Willow Bend stood like a gallows under the merciless Louisiana sun, its wood scarred black from lashes and blood long dried. Jacob hung limp from the chains, his back a lattice of raw flesh, each breath a ragged sob. Emma, next in line, knelt in the dirt, her own wrists bleeding from the struggle. Caleb Beaumont loomed over them, Harlan Thorpe's stolen letters clutched in one hand, a cat-o'-nine-tails in the other. The house slaves watched from afar, eyes downcast, the air thick with the copper tang of fear. 20 lashes each, Caleb declared, his voice a whip crack itself. For forgery, runnin', and consortin' with Yankee trash. Thorpe lounged against a porch pillar, counting reward gold with a smirk. The senatorial letter, proof of elite blood ties, would fetch a fortune in Richmond blackmail circles. But as the overseer raised the lash, a guttural cry split the yard. Old Solomon, the one-eyed field hand who'd lost his boy to the river trade, lunged from the crowd. Mercy, massa, they just fools. Caleb's boot felled him, but the distraction bought seconds. Jacob twisted, snapping a hidden shard of flint from his palm, smuggled from the bayou. It sheared the rusty pin on his manacle. Free arm swinging, he cracked the overseer's knee. Chaos erupted. Slaves scattered like quail. Caleb bellowed for guns. Emma bolted with Jacob, diving into the canebrake as bullets splintered bark. Quarters, now! Jacob gasped, leading her to a root cellar beneath their cabin, a underground whisper spot, dug by runaways past. Huddled in the fetid dark amid sweet potatoes and cobwebs, Jacob wheezed through pain. Planned this, sis. Solomon's crew, 10 strong, fields tonight. Bayou route south, Mexico border like Spanish days. No Thorpe snake, real railroad. Emma pressed moss to his wounds. How? Caleb triples patrols. Whispers in cotton rows. Free maroons in Atchafalaya swamp. Seminole kin. Horses stashed. Paddle pirogues cross Atchafalaya River. Then overland Nueces Strip to Rio Grande. Hot as hell, but free soil Mexico. Riskier than North. Patrols thick post-Texas annexation, but Bayou's their backyard. Emma nodded. Key first, big house attic, Ma's trunk. Elias whispered once. Dusk cloaked their raid. Jacob's allies created diversions. Barn fire east, hog stampede west. Amid shouts, Emma scaled the slave stairs to the attic, heart pounding. Marie's trunk, cedar, brass bound, hid under rafters. The iron key, 1845, fit perfect, lid creaking open to reveal. Not gold, but revelation. A leather portfolio, Elias's journal, Marie's locket with twin miniatures, Emma and Jacob as babes beside a Virginia statesman, and deeds to hidden Creole land. But the bombshell, a sealed packet. Senator Thomas Caldwell's crest. Inside, Caldwell's confession, dated 1823. Elias, brother, your folly with Marie birthed my shame too. Bourbon night, New Orleans mask. Eyes like mine in that quadroon girl. I claim no paternity public. Senate whispers kill careers, but fund her freedom. 5,000 secreted Creole bank. Underground ties, Solomon's line to Mexico. Protect them as kin. Destroy this if caught. T.C. Emma's world tilted. Elias, uncle, Caldwell, father. White senator bankrolling escape. Journal corroborated. Elias covered for brother. Forged manumission to shield scandal. Caleb knew fragments. Hence will sabotage. Jacob! She hissed, stuffing proofs. Gunshots neared. They fled to quarters, rallying 8 souls. Solomon, 2 field couples, 3 young bucks. Midnight. They ghosted to swamp edge. Pirogues laden, muffled oars. A Chafalaya basin swallowed them. A labyrinth of cypress and black water. Gator eyes like lanterns. Maroons met at Devil's Knee. Armed Creoles, half French, half African. Send Caldwell's blood? Rio Grande or bust? Their leader grunted, pocketing a coin from Emma's pocket. Caldwell fund. Dawn second day. Horses from hidden remuda. Overland push. Nooses brush hell, thorns ripping, heat baking. Jacob weakened, fever raging. Patrols bayed hounds 2 miles off. Push, Emma urged, but betrayal bit again. At shallow Rio Grande ford, freedom yards away. Rifles cracked from ambush. Texas Rangers, Caleb's wired gold. Maroons fell, Solomon gut shot. Jacob shoved Emma toward water. Swim, sis, Mexico! She splashed thigh deep, proofs waterproofed in oilskin. But Jacob turned for last stand. Bullet bloomed red in his chest. Pa's truth, yours now. He crumpled. Emma reached Mexican bank, collapsing amid cacti. Rangers halted at border, Comanche turf, but Caleb himself rode up American side, megaphone voice mocking. Run, niece! Uncle Caldwell buys silence. Kill the key. Uncle, he knew. Rifle raised. Intent murder, but a shot rang opposite. Rider from shadows, cloaked like Bayou ghost. Caleb jerked, horse bolting. Dead, wounded. Mexican vaqueros hauled Emma inland to Matamoros safe house. There, panting, she unfolded final journal page. Elias hid. Caleb learned Caldwell truth. Plots my death. Frames slaves. Key saves all, or damns. Fever dreams gripped her nights. Jacob's ghost whispered, truth, chains heavier. Days blurred. Maroons plotted return for bodies. Caldwell contact. Then thunder of hooves. A gentleman dismounted, silver-haired, Virginia drawl, Caldwell eyes. Emma Duval, or Caldwell. Nephew Elias sent word before death. I'm father. But as he embraced her, distant gunfire echoed. Caleb's posse crossed, or worse, Rangers bribed. Key burned. Proof could free Willow Bend slaves, ruin Caleb, but cost Jacob's life. Emma clutched portfolio. Truth first, then blood. Shadows lengthened. The real war began. Chapter 4. Chains of Truth. Matamoros sprawled under a merciless Mexican sun, its adobe hovels and dusty plazas a fragile sanctuary for the broken and the bold. Emma Duval, or Caldwell as the Whispers now named her, huddled in a cantina safe house, the leather portfolio clutched to her chest like a shield. Jacob's blood still stained the oilskin wrapping. His final words echoed, "Pa's truth, yours now." The Rio Grande's muddy churn mocked her from afar. Freedom's border turned grave. Senator Thomas Caldwell dismounted with Virginia Grace, silver hair gleaming. Her eyes, mirroring shock and shame. Escorted by vaqueros loyal to underground remnants, he entered, shedding cloak to reveal broadcloth suit and a gold senatorial pin. Emma. Elias's letter reached me via Solomon's runner before his death. The key. You hold our family's curse. She rose, wary as a Bayou cat. Uncle Elias, your brother. Journal says more. New Orleans night, Ma Marie. You father. Caldwell's face crumpled, aged decades in seconds. Bourbon Folly, 1823 mask. Your mother. Fire and Grace. Elias covered, raised you as his. Funded silence. Creole Bank. Underground south to Mexico. Manumission his gift. But Caleb sniffed blood. Sabotaged will. Hired Thorpe. Emma unfolded the confession packet. Thorpe, your agent. He sold us back. A bitter laugh. No. Thorpe my spy. In Caleb's pocket first. Double-crossed for gold. But witnesses here. Vaquero Don Ruiz saw Bayou rider. Me scouting. Plan. Public claim. Court in Matamoros. Free Willow Bend slaves with my purse. Ruin Caleb. Hope flickered. Senatorial power. Mexican court's abolitionist post-1829. Emma rallied Maroons. 8 survivors from Nueces ambush, armed with stolen Rangers rifles. Raid Willow Bend. Burn deeds, free quarters. Caldwell nodded. Pirogues upriver tonight, I testify. Paternity public. Scandal sinks Caleb. Dusk bled into night as they pulled Rio Bravo shadows, ghosts in the current. Matamoros Maroons, ex-slaves, Seminole kin, chanted low hymns. Emma gripped key, portfolio safe. Jacob's fevered spirit urged, truth chains heavier. Willow Bend loomed midnight black, lanterns dim. Slaves signaled, Solomon's widow lit attic window. But trap sprung. Rifle cracks shattered silence. Caleb's posse erupted from canebrake. Thorpe leading, senatorial letter ransom note in hand. Ambush! Caldwell roared, drawing pearl-handled pistols. Vaqueros fired. Maroons charged. Chaos, bullets whined. Slaves bolted quarters. Caleb on horseback, shotgun blasting. Kin whore, uncle's bastard. Emma dove for big house, portfolio thumping. Attic trunk, final proofs. But Thorpe blocked stairs, pistol cocked. Key girl, senator's head on platter. Richmond pays millions. Twist cracked her world. Thorpe smirked. Boston Quaker, cover. Senator's man from start. Lured you to bank, stole letters for him. Caleb outbid. But now, both die. Double agent. Caldwell's ploy to test loyalty. No. Thorpe's greed ruled. Senator burst in below, facing Caleb. Nephew, forgery ends, I'm father. Courts free them. Caleb laughed maniacally. Pa, white Senate scumbeds niggers. Letters mine. Blackmail you both. Shotgun boomed. Caldwell jerked, chest blooming red. Fell, clutching Emma's locket. Truth, free. Screams below. Vaqueros cut down. Maroons routed. Jacob's ghost. No. Hallucination born of grief. Emma lunged past Thorpe. Key slashing his cheek. Downstairs through kitchen inferno. Barn blaze reignited. To swamp edge. Caleb pursued. Rifle raised murder close. Die, niece. But maroon bullet felled his horse. He crawled, cursing. Emma reached pirogue. Solomon's widow polling desperate. Jacob, she gasped. Lost in ford. Go! Bayou swallowed them. Gators trailing wakes. Dawn found ragged group at Devil's Knee. 3 survivors. Portfolio soaked, but proofs intact. Deeds, confessions. Emma stared at Caldwell's body. Vaqueros recovered? Thorpe fled wounded, Caleb limping home defeated. No triumph. She kindled fire on Cypress knee, unfolding letters. Senator dead silencing scandal. Jacob gone. Truth, poison chalice. Flames licked Elias's journal first. Blood ties bind tighter than iron. Marie's locket next, melted to slag. Deeds, burned half, sparing Caldwell confession, and one, underground fund for Willow Bend freedom. Why? Widow wept. Truth chains heavier, Emma whispered. Jacob's echo. Free souls, not paper wars. Pirogue vanished into Atchafalaya mist, Mexico north. Deeper swamp. Legends birthed. Emma ghost haunting patrols, freeing singles via Bayou whispers. Caleb ruled broken. Slaves fled post-raid, will rumors spread. Thorpe vanished, shamed, but chains endured. Did truth dawn? Willow Bend crumbled by 50s, slaves scattered underground south. Emma. Mist claimed her. Key sank in black water. Legacy unbound. Some say she surfaced Canada. Senator's name cleared quiet. Others, Seminole Queen, raiding Texas, or bones in Nueces thorns. Truth? Chains we carry further. Shadows lengthen. Listen. Bayou whispers still. The end.